Okay. Express yourself, man. Express yourself. What's up, YouTube? My name is FrankTastic, and welcome to another Motovlog. I literally just left Carson Coffee. If you have not seen that video, here is the card linked to that video. I think it was a pretty neat video. First time going to Carson Coffee. Now I need to get gas. I filled up my bike with gas. I drank an energy drink. There was Austin. Austin's gonna be riding with me on this little video. I'm actually gonna take Austin down some curvy roads. He said he wants to learn curvy roads, or at least learn how to hit curvy roads. He is on a booster. I think that's an 08 model. Obviously, if you know anything about bikes, boosters are probably one of the hardest bikes to hit curves on, but it is still doable. You just really got to know how to do it. Me personally, I do not want a booster just because I like having fun. Boosters are really good at like going straight on like the highway or whatever, but I ride around town more than I do on highways, and I also hit curves way more than I do anything else. So a 600 is like the best bike for me. That's why when I sold my Gsx-r 600, I got another 600, my 2017 R6. For me, I just have more fun on 600s, but I am looking for a new generation R1M. That is in the works of me getting a new bike. Now obviously it's not going to be like right now. It'll probably be whenever I get my financial stuff situated for it. My next bike is most definitely going to more likely be a R1M. I don't want the normal R1. I really want an R1M 2017 to current. But yeah, in this video, the topic I want to talk about is motorcycles. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be an interesting video, I think. Could be wrong about that though. I want to talk about motorcycles I've had. When I was a little kid, my aunt had a Honda Rebel. Of course, I never got to actually ride it, but my aunt did put me on the tank with her and rode down the road. We lived on a farm, back road farm. So being all the way out in the middle of nowhere, I mean, you could kind of do illegal stuff. No cops were around. I mean, I used to ride my go-kart up and down the road, man. The first bike that I actually rode, my aunt owned this bike. It was a, I can't remember the year. I think it was an 08. Maybe it was an 06. I think it was a Yamaha V-Star. And that was the first bike I actually rode. That was the bike I learned how to ride on. And it was really fun. It was a cruiser bike. And you know, I grew up around motorcycles, and I didn't really have any preference between a cruiser and a sport bike. I just love two wheels, man. I love dirt bikes. I love motorcycles. Anything with two wheels, man, I just loved it. I did not care. But then, jumping past that, the first bike that I actually owned myself, that I bought myself, that was in my name, was a 2007, I think it was a 2007, Kawasaki 125 Eliminator. It was baby blue, and it was a beautiful bike. Now, granted, it being a 125, I didn't even care, you know. I didn't even care about it being a 125 because I was, at that time, man, I just wanted a motorcycle, and this bike, you know, was very cheap. I'm pretty sure I bought it for like 500 bucks. It was a beautiful bike, and I was like, man, this bike is so clean, man. There was a very slow motorcycle. Actually, some of my really old first-time motovlogs, I'm actually on that bike. Now, if you go back and watch them, excuse my language and excuse the video quality. That was like 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. working. I did not have the best camera. I did not have the best setup or any of that stuff. Excuse the quality. Actually, go ahead and excuse any of my older motovlogs because I cussed a lot. The past few months, all my newer videos, man, I try not to cuss as much. I don't understand why people cuss all the time in their videos. I try not to. Now in person, I might cuss a lot. I'm trying to cut back on that, but in videos, I try not to cuss so much. And looking back at some of my older videos of how much I cuss, I was like, why you do that? Why you cuss so much, man? That is so inappropriate. So yeah, if you watch any of my older videos where I'm just cussing so much, I apologize. And I love hitting curves, man. I'm not even going fast right now. I just really enjoy it, man. Me and Austin was talking about what we get our thrill out of when we're on the motorcycle, and for me, it's curves. Whether I'm going fast or not, man, I love hitting curves. And the good thing about the 2017 R6 and the newer generations of the R6, man, they were built for curves. They are dominating the track right now in MotoGP because they are designed for curves, and I love it. This bike was made for me. Eventually, I sold my 125 Kawasaki Eliminator to my brother-in-law. I didn't really do any modifications to that bike, but the day I sold that bike, I also bought my 2002 Suzuki Gsx-r600 from my brother, John. It was black and yellow at the time, but that bike was the first sport bike that I ever rode. It was the first one I ever got on. It was the first sport bike of my life. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But look at that. They got an air up bouncy house slide thing. How neat. So this Gsx-r being my first sport bike, when I bought it from John, he lived in Huntsville and I lived here in Florence, and it was my first time being on this bike. And when I bought it from him, and I had to ride it all the way from Huntsville to Florence on Highway 72 around like midnight, and it was so fun and exciting but also scary at the same time because, I mean, it was my first time being on it. I mean, yeah, I rode it around a neighborhood one time, but you can't really consider that as you know, riding it. I'm not gonna lie, I admit, almost the whole ride home I was doing like 110, 120 because I was like, dang, this thing is so fast and it's so fun. Because you gotta think, I went from the 125 that could barely do like 50 miles per hour to a Gsx-r600 that could do like 130, 140 easy. It was really hard to not do over 100 being the first time on that bike. After I had that bike for a while, I started working on it. I started learning bike mechanics. I rebuilt the bike, all that good jazz. I learned how to ride a sport bike properly. I started hitting curves. I started hitting back road curves. I would go one way and then go the other and then go one way. I would hit the same road over and over trying to learn curves. And it took me a few months, which, I mean, I've been riding for a couple of years now, but at that time, what are you doing? What are you doing, fella? Guy. Learned how to ride a sport bike on my Gsx-r. I learned how to hit curves on it, and like, I didn't just get on it and hit curves and learn how to hit curves in one day. It took months. Every day I would go out there and ride the same roads or ride different roads, hit the same curves for hours, trying to lean a little bit more every time, trying to get a little bit faster every time. Eventually it worked out, and now I can hit curves pretty fast. I can get pretty low. Like I said, it took practice. I don't think anybody can just get on a bike for the first time without knowing how to ride and just be able to hit curves like a pro. Which I'm not saying I'm a pro, but I think I'm pretty good. I had the Gsx-r for about, I would say probably a year or two. I think I had it for about 2 years. And then I went searching for a new bike, and I found this baby. I test rode this, and I test rode a 2017 Gsx-r600. I like this one way more than I did that Gsx-r. And the crazy thing is, I thought I was gonna go and get a Gsx-r because I had that Gsx-r, and I was like, man, I love Gsx-rs. But you know, what did I know? So then I get on this bike and I'm just like, dang. I like to consider myself as a Yamaha fanboy now. I ain't gonna lie. I just love this bike so much, man. Hey, that's a nice car. This is like my baby. This is my favorite bike out of every bike I've ever rode. I mean, I've rode a bunch of bikes between first getting my Gsx-r to now. I rode multiple bikes, even without. I have, you know, bike reviews. Go ahead and check those out. And this is probably my favorite bike out of everything I've rode. Even though it's a 600, it is a fast 600. I'm not even done modifying this bike. I have so much more I want to do. I want to get my aftermarket headers to replace my stock ones, and it'll go really good with my slip-on. I want to get my ECU flashed. There's so much I've already done, and there's so much I want to do. And this bike is like I said, it's like it was just made for me, right? But there is another bike out there that I really want. Probably not gonna trade this in for it. I'm probably just gonna pay this off and then buy that one. My GoPro still on? Yes. Yes. Is it? Yes. But yeah, the new generation of the R1s, man. And not just the normal R1s. I want the R1M. I don't care what anybody says or what anybody else's opinion is about that bike. I personally love it. Now, granted, I haven't test rode one yet, but I would love to, because I mean, that would really let me know if I really want that bike or not. Plan is probably going to be pay this one off and then buy the R1M, because then I will have the R6, a 600 for curves, and then I will have the 1000, the R1M, for like highways or long trips, which I would probably take it around curves too. I would probably have to get used to the power of it around curves. That was the bikes I've owned, the bike I currently have, and the bike that I really want to get. My mind might change about that. I might find another bike that I really want and get that one instead. But for right now, I really, really want the new generation R1Ms. If you are into motorcycles and you have a bike, or you're looking for a bike, or you're looking to trade your bike, or whatever, let me know. Tell me, what are you looking for? What are you interested in? What's your favorite brand so far? What new models coming out are you looking forward to? Thank you for watching. Click the like video if you liked it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I actually kind of forgot my outro. But anyways.